Stop for a moment. Before you scroll, before you doubt, before you tell yourself this is just another video with dramatic words and background music, pause. Because this is not random. You were guided here. You were led here. And there is something that has been hidden from you for a reason, but not anymore. You have felt it, haven't you? That strange pressure in your spirit. That quiet knowing that something bigger is unfolding. Even when everything around you looks ordinary, you tried to ignore it. You tried to call it imagination. But deep down, you knew. And now you're here, hearing these words at this exact moment, and you can feel it in your chest. This message is for you. Chosen one, there are things about your life that never made sense. The delays, the rejections, the doors that almost opened but then quietly shut, the friendships that faded without explanation, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers when you were sure they were yours. You asked, why? More times than you can count. Why me? Why this path? Why this loneliness? Why this silence? And it felt like heaven was quiet. It felt like you were walking through a fog with no clear direction. But what if the silence wasn't absence? What if the delay wasn't denial? What if what felt like abandonment was actually protection? You were never ignored. You were being prepared. There are truths about you that were too heavy to hand to you too early. There is power in you that required strengthening before revelation. If everything had been shown to you at once, you would have doubted it. If all the blessings had arrived on your original timeline, you would have mismanaged them. And not because you are incapable, but because you were still becoming. You thought you were being overlooked. In reality, you were being separated. Separated for purpose. Separated for clarity. Separated so the noise of the world could not distort the calling that was forming inside you. You felt isolated. You felt misunderstood. You felt like you were speaking a language no one else could hear. But that isolation was sacred. That loneliness was intentional. That misunderstanding was divine camouflage. There are rooms you were not invited into because you would have outgrown them too quickly. There are people who walked away because they were only meant to accompany you through a chapter, not the entire book. And yes, it hurt. It hurt more than you admitted. You smiled through it. You told everyone you were fine. But at night, you questioned your worth. You questioned your path. You even questioned your faith. And yet, here you are. Still standing. Still believing, even if your belief trembled. Still moving forward. Even when you couldn't see the map. This was hidden from you for a reason. There are spiritual battles you never saw. There were forces that recognized your potential before you did. There were moments when things fell apart, not because you were cursed, but because you were targeted. Not in a dramatic movie scene way, but in subtle resistance, strange obstacles, sudden confusion, unexpected delays. And you thought, maybe I'm just unlucky. But heaven was probably whispering, relax, I'm working. You laughed it off sometimes. You told yourself, it is what it is. But it was never random. You have always been under construction. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not average. You are becoming. Think about how many times you felt different. Even as a child, even in rooms full of people, you felt slightly out of place. Not superior, not inferior, just different. You saw things others didn't. You felt things others ignored. You sensed shifts in energy before anyone else noticed. And sometimes that sensitivity felt like a burden. You wished you could be less aware, less deep, less intense. But that depth is part of your assignment. What was hidden from you was not your identity, but your impact. You underestimated the weight of your presence. You thought your quietness meant insignificance. You thought your small beginnings meant small destiny. You thought your detours meant disqualification. They didn't. There were seasons when you prayed for clarity and received silence. Seasons when you worked hard and saw little reward. Seasons when you gave your heart and got back confusion. And you wondered if you were doing something wrong. You weren't. You were being refined. Refinement does not feel glamorous. It feels like pressure. It feels like heat. It feels like stretching beyond comfort. But what you call struggle, heaven calls shaping. Here is the shift you were not expecting. The pain you resent is the very evidence of your preparation. The rejection you replay in your mind was redirection. The betrayal that broke you open taught you discernment. The delay that frustrated you built endurance. The season of nothing is happening was the season when everything invisible was aligning. You thought you were stuck. You were being positioned. And now, something is changing. You can feel it. The heaviness is lifting. The confusion is clearing. The same situations that once drained you no longer have the same grip. The same fears that once paralyzed you now feel smaller. You are not the same person who entered that valley. You are stronger. You are sharper. You are quieter, but more powerful. You were hidden because you were being fortified. Imagine if you had stepped into your next level with the same mindset you had 3 years ago. You would have second-guessed every decision. You would have shrunk in rooms you were meant to command. You would have apologized for your own brilliance. No. You needed this growth. You needed these lessons. You needed the solitude. And yes, sometimes it felt like heaven forgot your address. Sometimes it felt like your prayers were lost in transit. But you are still here. And that is proof. You survived what was meant to break you. You endured what was meant to distract you. You outlasted what was meant to discourage you. There were nights you cried quietly so no one would hear. There were mornings you forced yourself to get up when your heart felt heavy. There were days you smiled publicly and doubted privately. And through it all, something inside you refused to quit. That something is not accidental. You carry resilience that cannot be taught. You carry insight that cannot be copied. You carry favor that cannot be manufactured. And the reason it was hidden from you is because revelation requires readiness. If someone had told you years ago how powerful you would become, you might have laughed. Or worse, you might have feared it. You might have sabotaged it before it even started. So it was veiled. Layer by layer, you were shown just enough to keep going, but not enough to overwhelm you. You were given breadcrumbs, not the entire map. And now the veil is lifting. You are beginning to see patterns. You are connecting dots. You are realizing that nothing was wasted. Even your mistakes served you. Even your wrong turns taught you something necessary. Even your heartbreak strengthened your boundaries. You were never losing. You were learning. And let's be honest. There were moments you thought, maybe I'm just not meant for more. You compared your timeline to others. You watched people rise quickly while you climbed slowly. You wondered if you missed your chance. But your path was never meant to be crowded. It was meant to be intentional. Quick success would have been fragile. Yours is being built to last. You see, elevation without foundation leads to collapse. So your foundation was built in hidden places, in silence, in obscurity, in seasons when no one applauded you, in times when you were doing the right thing and no one noticed. Heaven noticed. And now, what was hidden is about to be revealed in ways you cannot ignore. Opportunities will begin to align differently. Conversations will carry confirmation. Doors will open with less resistance. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because you became aligned. You are stepping into awareness. You are stepping into authority. You are stepping into the version of yourself that no longer apologizes for existing. And yes, there will still be challenges. Growth does not remove resistance. But now you understand that resistance does not mean retreat. It means expansion. Remember when you thought that closed door was the end, and later you realized it was protection. There are more moments like that coming. Moments when you will look back and smile at how worried you were. You might even laugh and say, "Wow, I really thought that was the worst thing ever." And heaven will gently reply, "I told you I was working. You are not crazy for feeling chosen. You are not arrogant for sensing purpose. You are not delusional for believing there is more. You are aware. This message found you because you are ready to receive it. Because you are ready to stop shrinking. Because you are ready to stop doubting your intuition. Because you are ready to trust that the separation, the delay, the silence, the struggle, all of it had meaning. And here is what was truly hidden from you, your influence. You thought your journey was just about survival. It was about impact. The strength you built was not only for you. The wisdom you gained will guide others. The empathy you developed will heal wounds you haven't even entered yet. Your story carries medicine. But first, you had to believe that you were worth healing. The breakthrough you are approaching is not just external. It is internal. It is the moment you fully accept who you are becoming. The moment you stop asking for permission to rise. The moment you stop explaining your growth to people committed to misunderstanding you. You are not who you were. And you are not who they remember. You are evolving. And evolution requires shedding. Some people will not recognize you. Some environments will no longer feel comfortable. Some habits will fall away naturally. Do not panic. Do not chase what is leaving. What is meant for this next chapter will meet you at your new level. You were hidden for a reason. But not anymore. Now you are being revealed to yourself. And that is the most powerful revelation of all. Feel this. Let it settle in your spirit. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not overlooked. You are chosen. And what was once concealed is now becoming clear. Step into it. Own it. Embrace it. Because the season of confusion is ending, and the season of clarity is beginning. Comment below, "It was hidden. But now I see." If this message resonated with you, declare it, affirm it, and stay connected. Because this is only the beginning of what is being revealed to you.